Day one. All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Women's Cave. Yes, it's just Jay today, so we might actually have a serious interview, and I might be able to get out all my sentences. We'll see. I'm excited. Hopefully, Winona doesn't like pop in and be like, "I'm here." And that would be sad. I mean, exciting because she's my best friend in the world, but sad because I won't be able to finish my sentences. Maybe. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, so we wrote literary life guides with pop poetry. Yes, I know. It's fall, y'all. So I'm just telling you, I have my hat on because when fall starts, hats need to be worn. Just for me. Maybe not for you. That's okay. So yeah, we wrote literary life guides with pop poetry. Sometimes we have some wise things to say. Not really so much. Our co-authors, though, amazing women. All right, so and I thought the voice was bad with other life lessons. If only I were me, a memoir, embarrassed. I'm gonna just go ahead and stop right there because you know what? There are audiobooks. You can check them out. And then I'm gonna mention one of my favorite books. Yes, I know you're not supposed to have favorites, but I do. Okay, I have a favorite book. You're not supposed to have a favorite child or book, but I do. So y'all don't tell Winona I'm saying this, okay? She doesn't need to know. But yeah, you can check out And I Thought I Did My Journey Alone, my favorite book. Just saying. You can find out everything your ladies are doing on www.andithoughladies.com. But y'all aren't here to hear about me and talk about my favorite books and being excited because I got to get all my sentences out today. You're here to hear from my wonderful guests. Wonderful guests, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, my name is Dianne Pearce, and I guess I would say that three things that are important to know about me are, number one, I'm an adoptive parent. Number two, I'm an adjunct teacher, which is a whole thing. And number three, I'm an independent publisher.
Wow. Okay. So there are like two things I really have to talk about. So what is an adjunct teacher, just for everyone?
So an adjunct teacher is a teacher that a college hires just to teach one or two or sometimes three classes. And they basically, if it's a 3-credit class, they pay you for 3 hours a week. And that's a big part of my identity because I've been doing it since the 90s. And it's a lot of work for a little bit of money because, you know, you're 3 hours a week in front of the classroom talking to the students, but there's prep, there's grading, there's office hours, there's email answering, and none of that stuff is included. So that's a big part of my life. Yeah, I teach creative writing, and with my creative writing class, we do this thing called a 6-word memoir. And mine was adjunct, teach, drive, teach, always broke.
That's hilarious. I feel sad. I hope you have like a really big hourly rate. You're like, no, you need to pay me $1,000 an hour.
No, the colleges said it. And yeah, sometimes it's not great, you know. So but the one thing that's wonderful about it is I've moved a couple of times and I've always been able to get work wherever I've moved. So that's a good thing.
That is amazing. To always be able to have a job. I mean, even though it only pays you 3 hours.
It's not the greatest job. It's
still a job.
And I love teaching. I love helping students. And so that's nice. But yeah, it's not the greatest pay.
Is that another reason why you became an independent publisher? Because you love helping people and teaching?
Yeah, that kind of is part of it. I have that helper gene. And so, yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about what is your independent press? How did you get started in it? I don't know. I have to be like Winona and have like 5 questions, but only say it as like one.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. That's been interesting too. I live in a little tiny town now in Delaware, very rural. I'm more of a city girl, but I ended up here. And when I ended up here, I decided that I needed to find some community. So I started a little writing group. The very first, I put a sign up, a couple coffee shops. And the very first day, I just invited strangers to my house. And the very first day, the very first people who showed up had 2 things in common, which was really amazing to me. They were very polished, interesting, good writers, even though none of them had ever, done it formally. And they all were over 40 years old.
Really?
And and after hanging out with these folks for a while, I was like, people who are older people, we have trouble getting published because the traditional publishers, they always want the really young writers, right? They want people in their 20s or even younger. And it's a little harder for us to get attention. So I thought, well, I'll publish us. And so I started off, the very first thing I did was this. It was an anthology of horror short stories that everybody in the workshop wrote. But since then, the publishing company has taken on a life of its own, I guess, because one of the things I found out was that I actually was ambitious when I started the publishing company. And I was like, I want to be a female entrepreneur. I want to run a real business. I want to have other people come to us and publish, but we did stick to our original plan of you have to be 40 or over. So you guys don't look like you're old enough for me yet, but the one thing is you will get there.
We will get there.
I hope when I get there, I look just as good though.
Right? Can I please? And yes, y'all, Winona has come. The fun has arrived.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Hey, so you stuck to 40 and over. And how rural is Delaware? We live in Maryland and we drive to Delaware all the time.
Oh, you do? What part of Maryland are you in?
Annapolis.
Oh yeah, that's nice. I wish I was over there. I am in lower Delaware, and it's a little bit red down here, which doesn't really suit me very much. And I also teach at UMES. That's one of my colleges. You guys must know UMES if you're in Maryland.
Yes.
Yeah, that is one of the places where I teach creative writing there. And I put out a book with my creative writing class there called Epic. And nobody pays me for that. I just do it because it's my creative writing class. It's an HBCU. I like being able to, they're on Amazon, their name's up there. They have their photos in the book. I want them to have a nice writing credit when they graduate from college that they can put on their resume. So
that's amazing. And I was just about to ask you but you answered it. You answered how does being a professor influence your publishing company? So I have another question. How do you decide who does your book design? And are you like one of those people that does it all? Like, do you do all the book design and stuff like that?
So yeah, we do it all. I happen to be married to a guy who started out he's been in publishing his whole life, but his name is David Yurkovich, but he has also been a graphic novelist. And so he's gotten some graphic novels published. And so he's a pretty good artist, and he's very good at graphic design, really. And he does the outside and the inside. This is our newest book. We don't just do horror.
Can you say the name for the people that listen to it on the podcast?
It's Halloween Party 21. So every odd year we put out a new horror anthology called Halloween Party. And so this is the new one. And he's got like I don't know if you can see. Let me see. He's got art kind of like all through it.
All through it. Wow.
Yeah. So we try to put out a really nice book that our authors are going to be proud of. We also do novels. We have novelists too. Let me just trying to think if this is one of our novels that we did.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll do novels too, and we
actually, the name of the novel for the people listening on the podcast.
Yeah, this one is called One of the Madding Crowd. We have another one called The Woman Puzzle. We have a mystery coming out this year called Let's Say Jack Kennedy Killed the Girl. It's like a hard-boiled detective mystery, and and we started in 2017. So we've been around a couple of years, but it's a slow growth industry, I'm going to say. For us, it is anyway, because, we do all the work. My husband works full time. I work part time at a couple of colleges, which works out to be full time. And then Saturday and Sunday, a lot of times we just sit at our kitchen table and work on the publishing company.
Wow.
I have a question.
I know you have questions, Winona. I'm sure you do.
So how does the creative writing, teaching creative writing influence your actual writing? Because I mean, how many papers do you end up reading all the time? And then, you know,
Yeah,
it's overwhelming for when you sit down to write.
I do. I read a lot of papers. Some of the papers are essays, which I'm not crazy about, but I read those too. I think kind of teaching people creative writing helps because they come up with new ideas, new genres that I had never thought to write in. Dystopian literature is really popular with my writing classes. They like to write about that. And sometimes they just come up with a beautiful line. Like there was one guy that I published last year, and his short story started off, I can't remember the girl's name. I'm just going to say Joanne because that's what popped into my head. Joanne held the fragile vase in her hand and felt ambitious. And I was like, that's such a beautiful line. Like, I don't know, it just struck me that this woman holding this fragile vase and felt ambitious, like what was she going to do with it? You know, so many possibilities opened up. So they really make me think, you know, and they kind of recharge my batteries a little bit, I would say.
That's amazing.
So you also do the Milton Workshop?
Yeah, when I first moved here, I was looking for other people to write with, and those are the people who came, and that I decided to publish them. So yeah, that's been going since 2015, and so 2 years before the publishing company started. Pretty much every other Sunday, except for like Mother's Day, stuff like that, we meet. About 2 years ago, I finally said, I have to share the burden and we have to start rotating houses because everybody came here, and we spend like 5 hours together every other Sunday. And, you know, there's food, there's a coffee, and we hang out and go through each other's work. So a couple of people have finished the motto. Can I say a swear on your podcast? Okay. All right. The motto is finish your damn novel. That's the motto of the workshop. And so a couple people have finished their damn novels. I haven't finished mine yet, but yeah.
I feel like I have to like that, Jess. I feel like I have to like that thing. Yeah, because a lot of the advice that we get, like, we were asking people, well, what are the advice that you give other authors as they start? Write the book and finish it.
Yeah, write it down. Right.
You're like, oh, okay.
Yeah, and that's right. Yeah, and I think that's the hardest part for a lot of people, including me. But yeah, so.
I'm sorry, it says on your biography that you were a failed vegetarian.
Yes.
And then we're gonna ask the last question, y'all. We promise. But yeah, we have to talk about a failed vegetarian.
So I was a vegetarian. I lived in California for a while with my husband. And when we moved out there, we decided to quit meat. And we didn't give up dairy. I mean, cheese is just too beguiling. I can't give up cheese. But so we gave up meat, and then we adopted from China. And when we went to China, every single thing we ate, even though we knew how to say, don't give us any meat in Chinese, every single thing we ate had meat in it. And it was really important to me to do a good job keeping my daughter's culture sort of in her. And I said to my husband, we better put meat back on the menu, because if she's ever able to find her birth family, they're probably going to feed her meat. And I don't want her to come over and be like, vegan, don't give me any. I want her to be open to her culture. And Chinese culture involves a lot of meat.
Oh, well, I mean, you seem like you did it for a good cause, though. So that's all that
Yeah.
matters. All right. So the last question is, where can people find out more about you and your authors and your publishing house? Yeah, all of that.
So we have a few publishing houses. Devil's Party Press is the main one. So if you go to devilspartypress, all one word, .com, you can find everything. We took a break in 2020. We didn't know there was going to be a pandemic, but we decided to take a year off from publishing and sort of work on our business model and all that kind of stuff. And what we did during that year was decide to, that's our literature house. And then we broke off 3 imprints Gravelight Press for horror, Out of This World Press for sci-fi, and Hawkshaw Press for mystery, because those are our three favorite genres. And we thought, since this is pretty much a labor of love, we better like what we're reading. So we decided to make those genres and separate presses for them to sort of, get the audience more focused. We also run a little lit mag on Devil's Party Press called Instant Noodles. That comes out 3 times a year. It's free to submit, free to read, and we take art, memoir, poems, and short stories for that, but it's themed. So there's one going to come out December 1st that's called Hot Buttered Holidays. It's supposed to be about holiday type, disasters. And the last one was Hot Fun in the Summertime, because I love that old song by Sly and the Family Stone. So you remember that old song? It's a good song. So so we theme those, and next year's our ethos, pathos, and logos, because I teach that to my students all the time. So I was like, I'm gonna throw it out. Let's see what people come up with. But that's another way. Like I started the little lit mag, and that's on Devil's Party Press's website, because I wanted to give people more opportunities that didn't cost them money and they could get it out there quicker. And then we were able to take a lot of those and put them up for like Pushcart Prize Awards and Best of the Net. And so we really are interested in helping our writers hit big at some point in time. So we do try to do that. So that was another thought behind Instant Noodles. If I have that, I can offer people more opportunities that don't involve putting a paper book together, which is a lot more time consuming. So so we're working hard all the time over here.
I can tell. So
thank you. Submit to Instant Noodles.
Yes. Okay,
I'm
guess
sorry?
that's the last question. Then
yes,
Winona.
it is. I'm sorry.
You see how I said at the beginning of the show?
I couldn't hear it, Winona. I'm sorry.
How do you submit for Instant Noodles?
Oh, okay. So we do all our submissions through Duosima. We had to adopt that so that we could keep track, because it was getting too crazy when people just emailed them to me. So Duosima is like Submittable, but Submittable is way more expensive. Duosima is much more affordable for us. But if you go on Devil's Party Press website and click on Instant Noodles in the tabs, it'll tell you everything there about how to do it.
Fabulous. Thank you so much for coming on the show today. We really appreciate it. And I guess I'll go ahead and wrap this up.
Thank you for that, by the way.
Of course I will. You can find out everything your ladies are doing on www.andithoughladies.com. While you're there, go to the middle of the page and see the charities that we probably support. We support them also. We thank you in advance for that. And just remember, y'all, wisdom is all around you if
you're open to finding it and accepting it. So peace and love, you guys, from Winona and the Jade that is here.
And the Jade that is here. And Jade. Wow. And Jade. Thank you for listening, y'all.